From secret underground Luftwaffe factories to exports to the USA and a sudden revival thanks to the Chinese. This is the story of the legendary Yugoslav automotive giant TAM, which survived the breakup of the country and several devastating bankruptcies. Today, we're going to break down the phenomenon of this industrial phoenix, whose rugged military all-terrain vehicles are still churning up mud in the Balkans, and whose luxury buses are remembered across half the world. That's what's in store for you today in the new episode of Space of Car History. Today, you won't find Yugoslavia on the political map of the world, but once, for most of the 20th century, it was one of the largest countries in Europe. At the dawn of its creation in 1929, Yugoslavia had a monarchical form of government. But after the country was liberated from Nazi German occupation, power in Yugoslavia shifted for many decades to the local Communist Party, led by Josip Broz Tito, who transformed the utilitarian kingdom into a socialist federation made up of 6 Balkan republics. The refusal to implement typical Stalinist socialist reforms opened up a unique path for Yugoslavia, allowing the country to establish economic ties both with the socialist bloc and with the West. Yugoslavia, during Tito's rule, was something like a smaller version of modern-day China, with its economic policy of broad cooperation with Western capitalist countries. And to trace this strategy of multi-vector policy, let's take a look at the history of one of Yugoslavia's largest automobile factories, Tovarna Automobilov Maribor, or simply TAM. The prehistory of this company dates back to World War II, when in 1941, near the Slovenian city of Maribor, the German Occupation Administration opened a small factory producing components for a Luftwaffe combat aircraft. Part of the factory's production facilities were located in special underground tunnels to avoid air raids. But, as we know, all these measures didn't help the Nazi troops, who by May 1945 had been completely driven out of Yugoslavia. After the Communist Party led by Tito came to power, Yugoslavia was transformed into a socialist federation. Typical socialist reforms began, with the nationalization of enterprises being a key element. This also affected the former aircraft factory near the Slovenian city of Maribor, which, after being restored, was repurposed as a repair base for trucks. However, already in the first post-war years, Yugoslavia, which was actively recovering from the devastating consequences of World War II, experienced a severe shortage of trucks. To meet the economy's need for motor vehicles, the communist government of Yugoslavia issued a decree in 1947 to establish the country's main automobile plant, which was to be based on the production facilities of a repair enterprise in Maribor. The newly created car factory received a clear and concise name, Tovarna Automobilov Maribor, the Maribor Automobile Plant. It was from this period that the history of the Yugoslav automobile Grand TAM began. The first vehicle to roll off this company's assembly line was the 3-ton truck Pioneer, which was a licensed copy of the Czechoslovak medium-duty truck Praga RN, produced since 1933 by the Czechoslovak automotive company Praga. This car, whose production lasted for over 30 years, became one of the most popular trucks in Czechoslovakia. TAM Pioneer. This 3-ton truck, equipped with a 67 horsepower engine, was mainly produced with flatbed platforms, but they were also standard chassis for mounting fire equipment, bus bodies, and various other superstructures. It was the TAM Pioneer trucks that became a reliable backbone during the post-war reconstruction of Yugoslavia. Over the entire production period, which lasted until 1962, 17,416 vehicles of this model were produced. Despite the high demand for these trucks, both the government and the factory itself understood perfectly well by the mid-1950s that vehicles with designs dating back to the early 30s no longer met the new market needs and were technologically and morally outdated, and therefore needed to be replaced as soon as possible. And this is where Yugoslavia's multi-vector policy came in handy, as it allowed the country to maintain economic ties not only with the socialist bloc, but also with the capitalist West. In 1957, to replace the outdated TAM Pioneer, the factory in Maribor began collaborating with the West German automotive company Maguris Deutz. A partnership with a leading automotive company allowed the then modest Yugoslav car manufacturer to modernize its production facilities and organize licensed manufacturing of certain components and assemblies. It was with the support of the German side that the TAM Research Institute developed a small 2-axle 1.5-ton truck, the TAM 2000, which was designed to meet the needs of urban and rural carriers for small, durable vehicles. In 1961, this vehicle entered mass production. This was the first Yugoslav truck with a cab-over-engine design. Because of its simple design, reliability, and sturdiness, this vehicle was simply called the Tamic. The 4-cylinder Perkins diesel engine, with a displacement of 3.8 liters and a power output of 76 horsepower, along with a fully synchronized 5-speed gearbox, allowed this vehicle to reach a top speed of 90 kilometers per hour. The TAM 2000 consumed about 15 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. The sturdy leaf spring rear suspension with dual wheels made it possible not only to produce basic flatbed trucks and dump trucks, but also to create a wide variety of specialized vehicle versions. Thanks to their durability and ease of maintenance, these vehicles were used for decades. Later, with a change in designation, the truck received a new index, TAM 75. The 70s were just as productive for the Maribor plant. In 1977, the company joined the project to re-equip the Yugoslav army by launching production of the all-wheel drive 2-axle truck with a cab-over-engine design, the TAM 110. This vehicle, with a payload capacity of 1.5 tons, could tow artillery systems and trailers weighing up to 2.5 tons. In the army, the TAM 110 was used to transport personnel, ammunition, and various materials, as well as to tow light cannons. The truck featured an extremely simple utilitarian design with a cab-over layout and a removable top, which was produced in 2 versions, with either a fiberglass or a canvas roof. The 2-section windshield frame could also be removed if needed by folding forward the wedge-shaped front panel. Under the truck's cab was a licensed 4-cylinder Dietz diesel engine with air cooling, a displacement of 6.3 liters, and an output of 115 horsepower. The transmission was a 5-speed manual. The truck's drivetrain also featured a 2-speed transfer case. Thanks to its high ground clearance and single wheels with aggressive tread and a centralized tire inflation system, the TAM 110 boasted excellent off-road capabilities. They could handle dirt trails, steep climbs and descents, and even ford water up to a meter deep. The sturdy frame and leaf spring suspension made it possible to use these vehicles for mounting a variety of specialized superstructures such as mobile chemical and biological protection labs, communications vehicles, ambulances, a mobile crane with a lifting capacity of 4.5 tons, drilling platforms, fire trucks, and even a bus for 16 passengers. The flat cab panels and sturdy construction made it easy to turn this truck into a heavy armored vehicle, which was named Lynx. Special protected vehicles were also created for the gendarmerie to deal with street riots. Complementing the 2-axle all-terrain TAM 110 was the extended 3-axle all-wheel drive model TAM 150, which was equipped with a new licensed Dutz V8 diesel engine with air cooling, an 8-liter displacement, and a power output of 150 horsepower. The payload capacity of the 3-axle version increased and, depending on the road surface, ranged from 3 to 5 tons. The vehicle could also tow trailers and artillery systems weighing up to 4 tons. Yugoslav multiple rocket launcher systems M63 and even launchers for small rockets were also mounted on the TAM 150 chassis. These army trucks, the TAM 110 and TAM 150, were supplied to the Yugoslav army and gendarmerie and were also actively exported to Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia. In the 90s, TAM military all-terrain vehicles took part in almost all the Balkan wars that broke out after the dissolution of Yugoslavia in 1991. Today, these trucks are still in service with the armies of the now independent states of Serbia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Republic of North Macedonia, and Montenegro. Alongside truck production, TAM also developed its bus program, which produced its own bus models in limited quantities. Special attention should be given to the Flemish 12-meter tourist bus TAM 260A119, which was equipped with a Deutz V8 diesel engine with air cooling and a power output of 260 horsepower. The fully pneumatic suspension gave the bus an incredibly smooth ride. The interior of this model featured 50 comfortable soft seats. Many buses were additionally equipped with a restroom, refrigerator, minibar, audio and video system, air conditioning, and Webasto heater. The TAM 260 tourist buses were popular not only in Yugoslavia itself, but also abroad. About 450 of these vehicles were exported to the USSR at the request of the Tourism Committee. In the 70s, despite the deepening economic crises in most socialist countries of Eastern Europe, the TAM plant continued to operate successfully, and in 1986 reached an important milestone for itself: 200,000 units of equipment produced. At its peak, the company employed about 8,000 workers, and TAM products were exported to countries in Africa, Asia, and even to the United States. Everything changed dramatically in 1991 when Yugoslavia broke apart and political instability, economic crisis, and wars replaced prosperity and development. In 1991, the TAM factory stopped producing trucks. Bus production was also reduced to a minimum. In 1996, due to unpaid debts, the TAM company was liquidated. Production in Maribor resumed in 2001. The revived company received a new name, Tovarna Vozil Maribor, or the Maribor Automotive Factory. The new phase of the company was now closely tied to the Slovenian army, for which the Maribor plant produced licensed MAN trucks. Later, the company became part of the Viator and Vector Group and continued its operations for several more years until the global financial crisis of 2008. In 2011, the company went bankrupt for the second time with debts totaling over 62 million euros. But just 3 years later, like a true phoenix, the Slovenian automotive company was reborn once again. This time, it was Chinese investments from the China High-Tech Group Corporation that breathed new life into the company from Maribor. Currently, TAM Europe's main product line consists of airport buses, inner-city buses, and electric buses called Vero.